What is up, everybody? This is the Pinstripe Chronicles brought to you by Northeast Streaming Sports on Facebook and YouTube and Roku. So, big news, guys. Big news. We've got our guy. We've been waiting this long. Finally have our number 2 overall prospect has been called up. It is Peraza. This is going to be exciting. We're going to break that all down for you and stick with us, and it'll be fun. Hello, everybody. So we got ourselves our top prospect called up. What does that mean for Isaiah Kiner Falafel, Rob?
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Can they start him at third now? Will they just simply bench him? Because they haven't played him anywhere but shortstop yet. So I'm a little skeptical to say, well, now they're going to move him to third. Because if they wanted him there before, they would have done it. So I think they're just kind of at this point giving in to the fan pressure.
Agreed.
Just doing a little fan service. But I think Falefa's going to be on the bench and he'll be a defensive replacement late in the game at third. If at best he can pinch run as well. I just don't want them to be. I don't even want to say necessarily permanently bench him because I still think he should play over Donaldson. But we'll see. I would, in ideal situation, they'd play him at third. And they'd have Peraza at short, Cabrera in right, or wherever they want to put him. Donaldson's out of the lineup for good, but they're going to keep that bat in there. So probably kind of a hybrid bench role, maybe some third base.
Taz, what are you thinking? You excited?
No, I'm definitely excited for Peraza being up. I think it's about time. And it's kind of, if you noticed, not just with the Yankees, but you're seeing a lot of prospects on various teams getting the call just to see what spark they can give to a September run.
Correct.
So it's good that the Yankees aren't trying to reinvent the wheel; they're kind of staying with it and not trying to act like, well, we're better than anybody else, so we don't need to test out our prospects. But what I think it does for the defensive part of it, it gives you a chance to take Falefa out of the shortstop role, but where does he go? Like you said, he hasn't played third base at all this year, not even just to give Donaldson a day off. So I don't think that they're going to use him on the field at all if Peraza is going to be getting the shortstop position. What you would like to see to really optimize your defense, I'd rather have LeMahieu at third, Peraza at short, Torres at second. And unfortunately, what really ruins that is Rizzo with his back issues. So he did not travel with the team. He stayed behind to see some doctors. So we're going to have LeMahieu at first base. I would rather have Donaldson over IKF at third defensively.
So, yeah, that's my next point. IKF has an 81 WRC plus, right? So his offense is not really someone that you want to kind of force in there. Even I don't quite know where he fits along with, say, a Josh Donaldson, because he still has that power potential, even though it's completely lost this year. He still has that. Do you want on your hot corner someone that only has like one home run and, as I say, a below average OPS, WRC plus, all his offensive stats apart from his contact is pretty much below average? Is that someone that you want in the hot corner? You say defensive replacement, but Josh Donaldson has been playing a very, very good Gold Glove third base. So would you put him in there? He's a bit of a terrible shortstop. Obviously, they're not going to call up Peraza not to play him. So that's the big question coming up now is how they're going to make any kind of role for IKF, or if that's just him done now, really, and then he's going to be kind of relegated and slowly pushed aside. Because let's not forget, we also have Oswaldo Cabrera, who's been excellent since being called up, especially defensively. If you want somebody off the bench, that's versatile. You want to give the games to Cabrera, not IKF. So
IKF, if you had to put him at shortstop in an emergency situation, he can probably handle an inning or two in the late games. You wouldn't want it. It's not like the thing that's on your whiteboard of most logical choices, but if you had to do it, you'd rather go to IKF late in the game than Marwin Gonzalez. So that offers you a lot, and at least defensive replacement late in ball games. He can run well. He's going to steal some bags. So at the very least, you're going to find a way to use him. Basically, he's going to be used the way he should have been used from the get-go. If you wanted to get him, he should have been a guy that offered you versatility all over the infield. He can play second if needed. He can play third if needed. He can play short if needed. And he can run, and he's going to get some contact. He's going to get some singles. That's what he is. That's what he should have been from the start. Yeah. Yet the Yankees locked him into shortstop and didn't move him from that point until September 1st, which is very, very annoying. But it's no fault to IKF because I've said it before and we've all said it. He's playing to his baseball card. His stats are scary how identical they are. It's eerily similar to last year. He's a little bit less terms of offensively, but he wasn't that good last year offensively anyway, aside from getting a bunch of singles. So you can't blame the guy. You can blame the organization for putting him in that position because he's not that good of a shortstop. He's a Gold Glove third baseman, below average shortstop. So what are you getting from him? Below average defensive shortstop. The time to make a switch was months ago, and they're finally doing it now. Once again, they're waiting a little too late to shuffle the infield, did the same thing last year. So I think they'll find a role, but if you're going to choose Donaldson or IKF, you really can't go wrong with either one in terms of defense. But like you said, for the offense, you want Donaldson because he might pop one at any given time, where IKF's best chance of doing anything is he gets a single or a double.
Well, that's, I want to bring up, I was going to bring up the fact that they wait, it was almost like rinse and repeat with Torres last year because the Yankees have not been able to figure out the shortstop position. I think our last solid shortstop was Didi. So it was, why have they not, especially when they had the opportunity to do it when Stanton was on the IL, why did they not slide Donaldson to the DH and move IKF to his natural position at third and had a better defensive shortstop in the process, especially since they brought up Cabrera, and Stanton was still out at that point. They had the opportunity to fix this infield a couple of weeks ago. And again, it was such a mistake for them to hold off so long, where now you're letting a team like the Rays, who no matter who goes down on their team, they always seem to have the right replacement come up right away without hesitation from the organization. So now you have the division in jeopardy. I'm not feeling so comfortable until I start seeing them play better. I'm not feeling that confident with the division right now, especially when we still have a lot of games left in the division.
So let's go back to where we're at with Peraza. We got a little bit sidetracked there. I don't think talking about the division is a little bit down the line now. We're just focusing on Peraza. So in AAA, he gave us 19 home runs, 50 RBIs, 33 stolen bases. So he's fast. He's got a nice OBP, 329. That's fine. Slugging, 448. So it's right there. OPS just under 800. So he's going to give you bat, stolen bases, and an elite defense. Because let's not forget, Brian Cashman said his defense was major league ready at the start of the year.
Yeah.
So he's been raking in AAA. I'm not going to give the Yankees credit for this, though. To be honest, this should have been done at the start of the year. I mean, as Rob points out, if they really believed that they were secure long-term in their shortstop position with Volpe and Peraza, then the IKF deal should only have been as a platoon shortstop in order to give the guys time. But they went all in for a long time and basically pretended the Yankee fans are blind as to how bad IKF was playing the shortstop position, and kind of gaslit us and telling us how great a shortstop he is. When we have the same stats as they have. They don't have any other kind of stats that we're not privy to that tells them that he's some fantastic shortstop. IKF had decent range. That's about it. He had decent range, and but at the end of the day, he often allowed the ball to play him instead of him playing the ball. And it's cost us a bunch of times. It certainly cost us the game the other day. So, I obviously had that rant yesterday. If you guys haven't watched it already, go and tune into yesterday's episode. It was fun. But to go back to my original point, I'm not going to give the Yankees credit for this. Waiting till September was, when considering the Astros, the Orioles, the Mets have all called up their top prospects recently, and the Yankees were holding off for really no apparent reason, considering all the problems they've had in the middle infield in terms of production. So I do think that they're reacting to fan pressure, because Aaron Boone really kind of walked himself into a mess that he created by lying to us, telling us that he's one of the best shortstops in baseball, when all the stats indicated that's actually not true. I think that blowing up, I think the organization were like, oh shit, right? Let's pacify the fan base a little bit and give them what they want. I really do think that. Do you guys agree?
Yeah. Go ahead, Tats. Go ahead.
No, Sam, go ahead.
Okay. But let's go all the way back to the offseason. They had an elite class of shortstops. Now, a lot of them have underproduced this year. Javi Baez hasn't been that good. Trevor Story hasn't been that good. But they could have had Seager. They could have had Correa. And they passed up on them because of what? The two shortstops they have that are closest to being Major League ready, in Peraza and Volpe. Peraza closer than Volpe. And now Peraza's here in September. Volpe's in AAA. Truth is, they were ready a long time ago. Peraza was probably ready before the season started, but you could have argued a little more seasoning would have done him some good, because he struggled to start the year in AAA. But over his last 50 games or so, he's been red hot. He's been ready for a while now. The whole reason you bring in a stopgap is you have him there when the kids are ready. Peraza was ready a while ago. Yeah. This move should have been made a very long time ago, and they've waited and waited and waited. And like you said, other teams do it. The Orioles are doing it, and they're playing winning baseball. The Astros are doing it. They're the best team in the American League. The Mets did it when they had injuries, and they're the second best team in the National League. So other teams with winning records are doing it, and the Yankees are saying, well, we have Marwin Gonzalez and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Those two players should never, ever hold a roster spot hostage over a prospect like Peraza, who you've invested so much of your future into by not moving him for players that could have helped you win now. Peraza could have helped you win a lot sooner than he hopefully will, because now the pressure's on him. The pressure is on him because you're a struggling team, and you're calling him up. The fans are saying, call him up, call him up, call him up. And now they're going to call him up, and he's got to be a savior. He's got to be a savior now in a lot of people's minds. Because if he struggles out of the gate, people are going to say, well, this is what you get. The truth is, this should have been done a while ago, because he's ready. He's been ready. We've been asking for it. We finally get it. But, yeah, like you said, I'm not going to give them credit, because this organization is so far in the past with the way they operate, yet they want to tell themselves they're analytically based and they're buying into the future of baseball, when they act like this is still the 70s and stuff, where you don't call up guys when they're ready. Like this, it's such a weird way of operating. Peraza is a guy that is basically, he's been ready for months, and they didn't want to do it. And he offers you so much. You mentioned the numbers already, but like he offers you everything that you want Isaiah Kiner-Falefa to be, and he's going to give you more than that.
So when Aaron Boone gaslit us the other day and told us that he's the best shortstop in baseball, and then I believe that it was a reporter followed up that question yesterday. This is actually before him knowing that we called up Peraza, and he was like, so what have you got to prove? What evidence have you got to prove that he's one of the best shortstops in baseball? He's like, oh, our internal numbers, or I'm like, what internal numbers are you talking about? We get exactly the same stats as what you get, man. You know,
I
he's
don't know how
minus
you
two
do that
outs
with a straight face.
minus 2 outs above average, 12 errors, a pretty low fielding percentage that puts him in the bottom half of shortstops in the American League. That's what he is. He's in the bottom half. Stop lying to us, man. So I'm still excited, though. I don't want this to be a negative thing because we got what we wanted. This is what we're excited about. So my next question to you guys, I'm going to start with Taz, is what expectations do you have for Peraza moving forward?
I think we already were told that, like Rob pointed out, that he was defensively ready before the season started. So I want to see I'm not expect. I don't want him to think that he has to come up and be an elite, defender. We just need somebody that's going to be able to play a clean shortstop. You'll be able to make the plays, read the infield well, understand who's at the plate, where to play, the depth, a solid, is he hit, is he throwing, how's he throwing to first base? Is he all over the place? Is he overhyped? And I want to see where his bat's at. I think the expectations that some fans, may have that he's going to come up here and just fix everything. That's not what he's being called up to do. He's being called up just to kind of plug a hole that the Yankees have in the infield. So the offensive expectations, if his first game he goes 1 for 3, I'm happy with that. I'm not looking for him to have he's not going to be able to be a offensive savior like Judge has been. So I just want to see where he's at this point, because there's got anything that he gives us is going to be better than what we've had.
Okay, so minimal expectations.
Yeah.
In other words, okay, and Rob.
I gotta admit, I'm expecting him to be better than IKF. And then that might be saying minimal. It can't be worse than what we're getting from IKF, from Torres, from Donaldson, even LeMahieu to a degree this month. Mm-hmm. LeMahieu was terrible in August, as was most of the team. Interestingly enough, I think the Yankees hitters had like a 2.1 WAR in August, and Aaron Judge was counted for 1.8 of that. So if you want to know who carried this team, there's your answer yet again. But pay the man. Anyhow, Peraza, I don't care if he has a lowish average. If he does basically what Cabrera's been doing, there's my expectation. Do what Cabrera's done. Give us clean defense, play with passion. The hits will come. The bat will come around. You can't expect the guy to come up and, some prospects have a great first day and then they kind of fizzle out a little bit and it's back and forth. Just give us steady at-bats, get better and better, see the progression. The hits will come. The power will come. And just basically follow that path that Cabrera has followed, because it's not that difficult to achieve. He's been playing great defense. He's playing with passion. He's playing playing hard, and he's putting up good at-bats. When you put up good at-bats, good results will follow soon enough. And that's what I want to see from Peraza. He's still very, very young, and there is a chance for him to grow each and every time he steps in the batter's box. But I don't want to see him look like too scared and start like swinging for the fences. I don't want to see no uppercut swings, because then I know the Yankees are teaching him the wrong things, which is what we expected anyway. So just follow Cabrera's path, and I think he'll be okay.
So let's now move on to the next topic of discussion. We're playing the Rays tonight. Domingo Germán is pitching for the New York Yankees, 2-2 with 3.19 ERA, which is actually very, very good, very, very solid. He's been really good since after his first start, which was a meltdown. Since then, he's been giving us a steady start pretty much every 5 days. So I believe the Rays starter is undecided. But forgetting about that for a minute, what are you thinking about tonight's game?
I think the Yankees playoffs start with right now. It starts tonight. You got to handle your business against Tampa. You can't let them. If they get any closer to the division, I don't want to see the Yankees give up 2 out of 3. You need to win this series. I think that's the key. And with Domingo on the mound and the way that he's been pitching, not that he's the best pitcher in our rotation, but the way he's been pitching, tonight should be a game that the Yankees can pull off, especially with the excitement like they have when Cabrera got called up. I think the offense is going to have a little extra juice to them, and we'll see with Peraza in the lineup.
It's going to be difficult though. Saturday we're up against Jeffrey Springs, who's 6-4 with a 2.76 ERA. We got Clark Schmidt on the mound on Saturday, and Sunday Frankie Montas versus Corey Kluber. We do not do well against Corey Kluber. Those are 3 games that you can conceivably lose, but you could also conceivably win as well because it's not like we're sending out scrubs right there. I mean, Montas does have elite stuff. He's not been elite since coming to the Yankees, but he's capable. And Clark Schmidt is our top pitching prospect. So there's a good chance that we can maybe sneak the series, but there's also a good chance that we could lose the series or get swept. What would it do, Rob, to the Yankees let's first of all take the scenario that they win 2 out of 3, and if they lose 2 out of 3 or get swept, what do you think it does to the division, Rob?
If they win 2 out of 3, it gives them the confidence that they can basically erase August from their memory. It's a new month. Let's start fresh, because I still believe in their mind they just said, let's take a month off, because they played so different through all of August and they had all season. Anyhow, it would tell me that they're serious about it, because this is a hole they've dug themselves, because they could have ran away with this thing in August. It could have been over. However, you have to win this series, but if you lose this series and if you get swept, they're not winning this division. I'll tell you that right now, because that is going to trickle effect down the entire. This is a tough month of September they have. People want to say, well, the Pirates are in there and so are the Orioles. Orioles are good now. Let's not forget that. They got Tampa Bay a couple of times. Toronto's still there. Boston always plays us tough. I think Milwaukee's in the schedule as well. It's a tough schedule down the stretch. Minnesota follows Tampa Bay. So this is the start of it. Like you said, Tats, the playoffs start now. If the Yankees want to be serious about this, they have to run away with the division. You got to start by, sweeping would be fantastic, but you got to dominate the 2 wins, I think. And you got to play tough the entire way through. It's got to be a hard-fought playoff atmosphere series.
The Yankees have to be concerned, because this was our get fat West Coast series against the A's and the Angels, 2 below-average baseball teams. That was our opportunity to get fat, get a couple of wins on the board that could allow us to face this difficult schedule with a little bit of comfort. We have no comfort zone now. It's backs against the wall time. 15-game leads now 6. It can change in a heartbeat. Another bad run, similar to what we've had basically all post All-Star break, and we could be we could be in a really serious grind. So they're in desperation mode now. Yankee fans have legitimate reason to be concerned, but we'll take it. We'll see how this series goes. If the Yankees can win this series, then we'll obviously be having a very different conversation come Monday. So I want to bring up one last point. It's a little different. Hal Steinbrenner, he did something interesting recently. He's invested in Serie A Italian soccer team AC Milan. My first take, it was obviously now Yes are going to be streaming Milan games, etc. So there'll obviously be some revenue coming from that. But my first takeaway from that is, didn't Hal Steinbrenner tell us at the start of the year that he had bondsmen to pay back? And that's why they couldn't go into the free agent market or even use Aaron Judge as an excuse there. I thought they had bondsmen to pay back. Yeah, he's more than happy to invest 10% in a major soccer team. What's your thoughts, Rob, on that? Are you worried about it? Are you concerned, or do you think it's nothing?
Who knows at this point, right? Because Hal Steinbrenner, he's such a word that I can't use on the air. I can't stand the guy, because he's always just talking out of his rear end. He tries to lie to us. Like you said, the bondsman thing, that still sticks with me every time I see his stupid face. And I'm glad he got booed when he came out during Paul O'Neill's ceremony, because it was well deserved. I know the Yankees have a high payroll. I know it. I'm not going to ever blame him for not spending money, because they spend money. But my problem with him is they don't spend it in the right places, and he allows Cashman to basically run this team the way he does, because he doesn't intervene the way he should necessarily. Because if he was serious about this, he would say, why are you going to give that money to Josh Donaldson when you can give it to Aaron Judge, right? Or why are you going to do so-and-so when you can, you know what I'm trying to get at. There's so many options out there with the money that they use that could be used in other ways. So him investing into a soccer team or football, whatever. If he wants another side hobby, let him have it. If it brings him more money and he invested into the Yankees, then it'll be a great thing. But we know it's just going to go up into his pocket so he can take that extra revenue that the Yes Network's going to get and pay his bondsman. But reality of it is he's an a-hole.
Tats. Tats, what are you thinking, man?
Yeah, as long as if he's going to, the bondsman thing was just such a that was the most laughable excuse I've ever heard from a businessman, and it was just unacceptable. And we went over that in the beginning of the season. But if the Steinbrenner is in position to further invest, then that's his business, what he does. And to mirror what Rob said, it's not that he's cheap. He just doesn't know how to spend his money right. So I think, maybe the extra revenue that he's getting, any return that he's getting on this investment to soccer, if it's going back into the Yankee brand, it can't be a bad thing.
But here's my point with that, though. Where's he using the revenue in order to purchase this soccer team? The Yankees. The Yankees were his business. I mean, what I'm saying is it's not unusual for baseball owners to also own soccer teams. The Crankies own the Rams, the Nuggets, the Avalanche, and also Arsenal soccer team. Liverpool are owned by Fenway Sports Group. So I believe the Dodgers are involved in Chelsea Soccer Club now. So it's not unusual, but the thing is, the difference is those were already empires, sports empires prior to investing in these teams, right? They were already a unit. But what's different here is Hal Steinbrenner's business is the Yankees. So he's basically used the revenue that the Yankees have given him in order to start expanding his own business. And so I don't believe that any revenue that the AC Milan create will be going to the Yankees. I mean, it'll go to the Yes Network. But Hal Steinbrenner has always said that he likes to view his Yankees from 30,000 feet. Using an airplane analogy, well, I can't see shit from 30,000 feet. And that would pretty much describe how I view Hal Steinbrenner owning the Yankees. I'm a little concerned. I just don't see why he's needing to do this. I really don't see why he needs to expand his business. The Yankees are the biggest business in the world in terms of sports franchises. So, but hey.
Here's an idea.
Okay.
Maybe he bought the team as an investment because he's going to be selling the Yankees to Jeter.
Well, Jeter would need about how many $5 billion to?
You could team up with A-Rod.
Yeah, good luck with that. But yeah, it's a strange look. But Hal Steinbrenner is very interested in soccer, apparently. So we'll see how that goes.
Hopefully, it means that he's going to take less of a approach with the Yankees and let actual baseball people do their job. Ideally, Cashman would be gone, and they'd bring in like just a bunch of baseball people to run the team, and he's just like, give me my money, and he just says, do what you got to do. Kind of like what Steve Cohen's doing.
Like James Dolan. Yeah, I don't know, man, but
it could be from the NYCFC revenue.
No, that's right. They had two soccer teams.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of soccer teams, and they also have NYCFC play on Yankee Stadium, which I don't think actually helps the turf or the field there. I don't really like that being turned into a soccer field, but that's just me. listen, this would never happen under George. I'm just saying that right now. So that'll be how I'll finish it off today. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It's been a fun show. Let's look out for Peraza. It's going to be fun tonight. Everyone tune in, and we will speak to you guys on Monday. Thanks very much.